Check out the view. Pullman Hotel, Saigon. Pullman's where I went to college, Washington State. Shout out Wazoo. Shout out Pullman. Everybody in Pullman. You want to be a digital nomad? You're talking to the right people. Brandon's a digital nomad. I met him in Saigon. I'm a digital nomad. First year digital nomad. But you are a digital nomad vet. And I met him on Thanksgiving at the Digital Nomad kind of Thanksgiving dinner in Saigon. And I wanted to hear your story because you've been doing this thing for a minute.
A little bit.
So where are you from and what's your online business real quick?
Yeah, sure. So I'm originally from Boston, just outside of Boston, a little city called Brockton. And my business as it stands right now, it's primarily an AdWords consultancy. So I work with different clients in the UK and the US that want to sell something using paid traffic, and we create the entire funnel for them.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing because there's a lot of businesses out there that have no idea how to do this type of stuff, and you're the wizard. So needless to say, you're doing pretty well. You're out here. You just ordered a $10 drink. Oh my gosh. So that's coming soon. I just ordered a $5 beer. This is one of the nicest rooftop bars in Saigon. So yeah, I want to hear a little bit about your story. You said you got started with Yahoo ads back in the day.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you started your online business, and what inspired you to get into online business?
Yeah, sure. So I guess like a lot of nomads, I was inspired by Tim Ferriss.
4-Hour Workweek. Read that.
Yeah, it's the Bible, man. It's the Bible. That was my first time starting to see that there was another way that I could live. It showed me a different angle that I could take to life. And at the time, I was working as a salesman. I was working for a company called Mimecast, dialing for dollars, 200 calls a day. It was fine. It was enough to pay the bills and keep me living all right in Boston. But I knew that I wanted more. So on my lunch break, I bought a ticket to South America, again, inspired by Tim Ferriss.
You're a beast.
And shot down to South America. The original plan was to stay down there for just a few months. I wanted to get away from everything I knew to kind of figure out what I wanted to do next. And after going down to South America, I realized that it was a lifestyle that I wanted to hold on to. Traveling is just so dope. You meet so many cool people, see so many things. And it adds flavor to life. So once my savings started running out, I had to figure out a way to make money.
Yeah.
And that kind of got me into the online game.
So how old were you at this point?
I left the States when I was 23,
and
maybe 24.
So you dropped out of college?
I did.
So you dropped out of college after how many years?
1 year.
After your freshman year?
Yeah.
And you were 23?
No. So between 19 and 23, when I was in South America, I was working in sales. So my first real career when I was 19 was in real estate. Okay. I worked for a company called Exit Realty, and I was banging doors all day, So
that's my business. Dog, I was knocking doors for 5 years, guys. I knocked doors for 5 years. You did the same shit.
Absolutely.
For real estate. I actually just closed a real estate deal this week. I've been in Saigon for 3 months, and I just closed one that I knocked on the guy's door in 2014. Somewhere in 2014, just closed. A foreclosure short sale that take forever.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, you're knocking doors, saving money up.
Yeah. In my opinion, if you're gonna get into the online space, there's a little better education you could get than sales. Like you'll notice a lot of digital nomad types have some type of background in sales, direct sales, just because you learn how persuasion works. You learn what it looks like to make a sale, like what elements go into that.
Yeah.
So my university was no different. I dropped out of university and I started working in sales. But the thing about sales, while it's a great training ground and some people do very well, you're naturally capped. There's a ceiling because there's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
And I wanted to remove that ceiling. So Hendrick's Gin on the rocks.
Hendrick's Gin on the rocks. We just got our drinks, guys. We're back. And I just got a Tiger. This is 100,000 Vietnam dong, which is $5. That's 200.
200,000 for this.
Cheers to digital nomad lifestyle, man.
Cheers.
It's a miracle. Oh, that's so good. So we were just talking about you were knocking doors for real estate.
Right.
And you realized that direct sales is good. You can make good money, but there's only 24 hours a day. Hence, online business is way better. So how many years after college were you working before you went to South America?
So that has to be about 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah, give or take.
You saved up. So how much did you save up when you booked your ticket and quit your job and went?
I had $6,000 in the bank when I left the U.S.
And you moved to where?
Flew into Peru. So I flew into Lima, and I split my time down there. I was down in South America for 2 years total, and I split that time between Peru, Ecuador, Argentina, and Bolivia.
Peru, Ecuador, Argentina, Bolivia. So Peru, Ecuador, Argentina, Bolivia.
Right.
And you kind of backpacked between all those places.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
It was amazing, man. Amazing. Like I made so many life-changing experiences there, you know. And when you're able to travel long-term, which is what our lifestyle allows, you're able to get a different type of experience than somebody just flying in for a week. You know, you get to meet locals, you have romantic relationships, you get to see the real country, and it just changes everything. It changes your perspective, it changes everything.
It's a complete 180. It's a different universe. Taking a 2-week Tim Ferriss, TOOWEAK, 2-week typical corporate vacation, and actually living somewhere for a few months. Exactly, the romantic relationships, that making local friends, the getting in the local scene. It's complete 180. So you're running out of money, and you're like, shit, I need to figure out a way to continue this lifestyle, because obviously you realize it's so dope, this is amazing. This is your first time out of the country. Really, other than you're in school, you went to Europe.
Yeah. When I was a teenager, we went to the United Kingdom. So I bounced around there for 3 months, summertime.
Oh, so that's not bad.
Yeah, it was a company called, I don't even know, they actually might still be alive. It's called People to People, Student Ambassadors. The idea behind this program was to exchange culture between different countries. So they took a bunch of people from the States, ship them over to the United Kingdom, and you spend some time between the different countries out there. And I know every year they would go to a different country. My cousin later on ended up going to Australia through the same program. But that was actually my first experience outside of the States, and it's when I got bit by the travel bug.
Yeah.
After that, I knew I wanted to
definitely
travel.
opens your mind. Even if you guys can take a 1-week vacation to Europe, like, it's definitely way better than nothing.
Absolutely.
It's 10 times better than nothing. Because it opens your mind, like, okay, there's so many little things that we can't even explain that are so different that just turn you on. Like they say, like the philosophers say, when your mind, Jason Silva, when your mind has mapped your environment so many times, it literally turns off to your environment. So that's why travel, when we're constantly surrounded by new things, new environments, new senses, our brain is constantly awake in this type of lifestyle. It's not repetitive, and I'm sure everyone can relate. We all have had those repetitive day-to-day jobs. So your mind got kind of open to travel, and that was in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, so you believed in high school, and not many people have the opportunity. So back to South America, you're running out of money. How did you decide? What inspired you to start the online business? How did you figure out what to do? You tried a bunch of stuff. You said earlier that your first business was not smart. What was that?
Yeah. So straight out of college, when I was in high school, I made a lot of music. And I was deep into the hip-hop scene in Boston. That was my thing. And when I was in college, I went for business management, and my plan was to create a record label.
Fuck yeah.
Python Entertainment, actually. So that was my first taste of business, or starting to wrap my mind around the concepts that are business. Yeah. This was before we had direct access to an audience like we do now.
Yeah.
And back then, we still had the gatekeepers that are the record labels.
Yeah.
And this was before YouTube and all of that, you know. So it wasn't the smartest business move. That didn't really take off. But that was my first taste. My first taste of direct response marketing was later on when I got into real estate. So this was around 19 or 20. Banging on doors, and as I mentioned, I wanted to figure out a way to remove the ceiling. I was walking through Barnes & Noble, and ended up in the marketing section and came across a book by Dan Kennedy. And this was No BS, direct response marketing, or whatever it was called. And that got me into sales copywriting and using media to reach more than one person. So in direct sale, it's always one-to-one. When you're using media, like direct mail or running ads online or the Amazon platform, you're able to reach thousands of people at once.
Yeah.
So it removes that selling.
It's magical. So magical going from knocking a door to someone is literally right now, as we speak, on my Amazon listing, on his ads, clicking on them, and we're just drinking a beer and drinking a cocktail.
Yeah.
So, okay, I can see this story coming together. You're in Barnes & Noble. Isn't there a part in the 4-Hour Workweek where Tim Ferriss was in Barnes & Noble and he stumbles upon some book? And anyways, if you haven't read or listened to the 4-Hour Workweek, do that. You can come back to this video later and go get it now.
Yeah.
No, you can finish watching this. But, so you found that book, you read it, and then that kind of opened your mind to the marketing world.
Right.
And then, what was you're back in South America.
Mm-hmm.
What business did you start there? How did you start? Where did you start? What did you do?
Yeah, so because of everything I had learned through Dan Kennedy and all of the branches that came out of that, Gary Halbert and all these other sales copywriters, eventually I found out about this industry that is affiliate marketing. And at the time, the biggest, or at least the most respected forum at the time, was called Wickedfire, wickedfire.com. It still exists. It's not holding the same repute, but at the time it was a big deal. And I knew that this affiliate marketing thing existed, and I wanted to take a crack at it. And I was doing my research, and I was on this website, wickedfire.com, and they had a section called buy, sell, or trade. Basically, people would come on there, and they would sell services, or they'd sell info products, or whatever. And one of the members had a ad up that mentioned that he was running a freelance writing business, and he had more work that he can handle, and he was looking for help. And I had spent my entire teenage years writing every day, so I figured I'd take a crack at it. And I reached out to him, and he actually ended up being from Boston, which was a weird coincidence.
Wow.
And he just started throwing me his runoff work, and I built out a reputation, started going out and finding my own clients. So my very first iteration was as a sales copywriter. So I write articles, I write ads, I write everything for businesses that needed content.
That's crazy, and you're still doing that.
Yeah, in a different way, definitely.
Technically your first business was freelancing.
Yeah.
You picked up freelance work.
Mm-hmm.
And you found them on Wickedfire. And there's plenty of places for people to find freelance work now.
Yeah.
Elance, Upwork, Fiverr.com. Sales copywriting. And then how long did it take for you were you making enough money right away to keep living in South America? Where'd you go from there?
Yeah, it was. Not immediately. Just off of his runoff, I was able to pick up maybe 50% of what I was spending. But once I started adding my own clients to the mix, I had more than enough to live in South America. The dopest thing about being down there is it's just dirt cheap.
So cheap. How much did you spend? Were you spending per month living down there?
To be honest, it's been so long now, I don't even remember. But I do know it had to be around $1,000 US. Yeah, more or less.
That's typical, guys. You can live in $1,000 US in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Asia, South America. It's not even. None of us have lived in Africa. Might go there soon. I got a friend living there. So how long did you stay in South America? You were all of a sudden, now you are working remotely. You're a freelancer, and this is when you're 24, 25 now?
Yeah. So this was. I think I went to South America when I was about 23, give or take, but I didn't start freelancing immediately. I had to run out of money first, so it took about a year for that. So then I was down there for another year after I started working.
So what year was this?
This was, it's about 6 years ago now. So what is it now, 2015?
Like 2010?
Yeah.
2009?
2009.
Wow.
Somewhere around there.
And at this point, you had already read the 4-Hour Workweek?
Yeah.
So you spent another year down in South America, so you were down there for 2 years?
Yeah.
Wow. And Did you move back to Boston? Where'd you go from there?
I did. So after South America, I went back to Boston for a few years. And that was just another pivot, as a matter of fact. Freelance copywriting is actually something I recommend for most people that want to start living this type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Just because it's super easy. There's no startup costs.
Yeah.
You know, the only real startup cost is time invested in learning a skill.
Yeah.
If you could get a specialized skill, you can start making money anywhere.
Dude, I really thought about doing that because I'm experienced in copywriting just through knocking doors. I used to write my own flyers and tape them on their door, literally, with Scotch tape. And, you know, you got one page to get them to call you back. Right. And it's the words that you put on there that are going to decide that. So my kind of, without even knowing it, my copyright mind has been growing since I've been knocking doors. And now I copyright on a daily basis because I write the copy for the Amazon page. I write the Amazon product titles, I write the bullet points, I write the descriptions. You have a few paragraphs to get someone to click add to cart on your Amazon product to buy your selfie stick. Buy my fucking selfie stick. That's basically what I say. I say, buy this motherfucker or I am going to come to your house and make you add it. No. No. You just... You kind of put your own personality into your words and stuff, and we both have a background in direct sales, so it just kind of comes naturally if you have a sales background. Absolutely. You know what to put on there.
Yep.
So, in an alternate universe, I'm also a freelance copywriter. I actually went on some freelance sites and started a profile and put copywriting as my thing, but I never got to the point where I needed that because I met the right people that were doing Amazon, and so now I'm full-time in Amazon. But I definitely could have done that, and that's good to say that you recommend it. So people out there who don't have a lot of money to invest, you know, in the Amazon thing, freelance copywriter, right there.
Yeah.
So you went back to Boston for a couple years. Did you get a job there?
No, I was still doing the sales copywriting stuff. Yeah.
So why did you choose to stay in Boston? Why were you not just hopping between country and country?
Because I needed to, the thing that you start finding out when you are moving around a bit is it's easy to maintain what you're doing if you have something in place while you're moving around constantly. And this might be a personal thing, an individual thing, but it's easier, sometimes you need some type of stability behind you if you want to make a creative leap, if you want to see a different angle than what you already have. And that's what I wanted to get. I knew that I wanted to take another pivot. Sales copywriting was a great entrance into the online space, but just like sales, direct sales, there is a ceiling there because you are still the main gear in the system. And I wanted to figure out what I could do that would kind of remove some of that burden. So I went back to Boston where I was comfortable, where I had a lot of friends and family. I got situated and started figuring out what the next step was, what the next level was.
So how did you, what was the moment that it clicked that, wow, now I can start making money automated in an automated system? So as I mentioned, automation is the best. Yo, that's cheers in Vietnamese. If y'all don't know. Coming from two hip-hop heads speaking Vietnamese saying yo.
Yes, sir.
So automation, how'd that...
Yeah, dude, so like I mentioned, at the time I was still researching affiliate marketing and trying to figure out how that space worked. And my very first automated sale was running ads on Yahoo. Back when Yahoo was still their own standalone platform before they merged with Bing.
So this was around 2010, 11, 12?
Right. It was in a super niche. I was selling an info product to beekeepers on ClickBank. Yeah, clickbank.com. That was my first sale.
ClickBank.com.
Yeah, dude. So I set up a squeeze page, and I was collecting email addresses, and I had a small back-end sequence, like 4 or 5 emails, and basically linking out to this info product.
Where they buy it, yeah.
And that was my first taste of what was possible because I could just once I set that up, it was just running, you know, until bids started going up on Yahoo. It was a viable option for me.
Wow.
So that was my first taste. And I kind of got deeper into the affiliate world from there. I started with info products, and then I started getting into CPA type stuff. So I was running dating for a while, adult dating and mainstream.
Yeah.
And I got really, really good at running paid traffic, and decided that I would start offering that as an option to clients. And that kind of expanded out. And this gave me the option of automated income for two reasons. The difference between piecemeal freelance stuff and what I'm doing now, which is management, is number one, with piecemeal stuff, you get paid once and that's it. With management, it's a recurring model. So you have a client, as long as you're doing a good job, they'll pay you over and over and over and over again, which gives you the margin that you need to start bringing in a team, surrounding yourself with other experts. And once you have a team, all of a sudden your time is now detached from the business, and it's an actual business instead of you running the show.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, what is piecemeal work?
So piecemeal is just like a one-to-one type of a relationship. Say I have a business and I'm selling tables, and you're a sales copywriter. I would reach out to you. I would offer you $200 to write a letter to help me sell this table. Once I pay you that $200, that's it. That's the end of our relationship. Now you compare that to a recurring revenue model. You bring in a client, and it's a membership, essentially. So they pay you for ongoing services. You get that client once, and they're yours as long as they're able to continue to deliver. So this lowers your acquisition cost. So if you're paying to get this client, you pay less because you only have to buy them once. And it also lowers the amount of time you have to give. So instead of constantly hustling to get new clients, you get your clients, you have your portfolio in place, and as long as you keep doing a good job, they stick around.
Wow. So you were kind of getting pretty good at doing the, is it Google AdWords at this point?
Yeah, that's my focus.
You're good at getting people searching on Google to where they want to be, right? You're good at putting what they want to find in front of their eyes, essentially. And so how did you find these recurring clients? What website or how'd you find them?
Yeah, so my initial start was Elance.
Elance?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Elance is disappearing now. They're merging with Upwork, but the idea is still the same. You have these freelance platforms where there's companies that are looking for people to help them. And it's a great way to start, man. I mean, these aren't going to be the creme de la creme clients. Usually the margins are smaller, but it's a fantastic way to start building a reputation. And if you're doing a good job with one person, they'll tell their friends. You know, business owners just like you and me, we're hanging out. Business owners hang out together. So if you're doing a good job, they tell their friends, and when they tell their friends, you can gradually scale up your fees.
Wow. So that was around maybe 2012 or something. You started to you're on Elance.
Yeah.
Man, that was around 2012, huh? Mm-hmm. That was the beginning of stages probably of Elance. So freelance is huge, guys. You can get started freelancing. You can do it. Case in point, right here, Brandon. So 2012 to now. So 2012, you're making good client work. When did you start building a team or hiring people to kind of? This is still copywriting stuff, or no? This is Google AdWords stuff.
Yeah.
So now you bring on people to kind of set up the ad campaigns for you.
Mm-hmm.
How big was your team? How many people did you have?
It's never been super big. I mean, at the moment, it's just two of us.
Just two of you guys right now?
Me and a media buyer. That's it. You know, I primarily focus on hustling, getting new clients, and overview stuff. And she ends up doing most of the actual, pulling the levers. Media
buyer. So for people that don't know, that is getting ads for the offer to show up on websites around the internet?
Yeah. So basically, when you look at a platform like AdWords, and there's a million of other ones out there, like Facebook ads or display ads, this is just a media type. This is what we call a media type, a paid media platform. A media buyer is somebody that manipulates that traffic for you. So if you're offering a management service, you're essentially an outsourced media buyer. My first team member, and something I would recommend for most people that are looking to go a similar path, is to start with a media buyer that can do the day-to-day work so that you can focus on strategy and sales. That's where the real money's made.
strategy and sales.
Yeah.
So strategy as far as copywriting, where to put the offer around the internet. Explain, go deeper into that.
Yeah, sure.
What's the secret to the strategy? What goes into that process?
So I would actually make a book recommendation. Somebody that dives into this a lot more than me. It's called Work the System, and it's by a man named Sam Carpenter. And he talks a lot about this, and basically it's the idea of standing above and beyond the documents that run your business so that you can work on the strategy. And essentially a business comes down to two different strategies. You have fulfillment, which is delivering the thing that you promise people. And you have sales, which is getting an audience to buy that thing that you're fulfilling.
Yeah.
When you're working in the business, which is the fulfillment side of things, it's very hard to focus on sales, and it's very hard to focus on how to do both of these systems better because you're so busy making the donuts, so to speak. With my particular business model, fulfillment is the buying of the media buying. So my first hire was a media buyer who could alleviate the time I needed to spend, buying the ads, doing the optimizations, doing all the other stuff that goes into AdWords, so that I could focus on the sales element and making the fulfillment element more streamlined, more efficient.
So you're kind of a salesman, the virtual salesman. Like are you still writing all the copy for these ads, designing the ads, if it's a picture or whatnot, designing all that stuff, getting people to click on it once they see it, essentially.
Yeah.
So that was 2012. You had a one team member back in 2012, and you still do now.
Yeah.
2015, almost 2016. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everybody around the world. Let's get back to travel. So 2012, you've been back in Boston for a few years. What inspired you at that point to start traveling again?
Well, at that time, I felt I was pretty confident and comfortable in my business model. I knew I had space to scale, and there's an energy when you're traveling. You meet a different type of a person when you start coming to places like Saigon or Bangkok or Lima or La Paz, and I wanted to reclaim that. I feel like when you want to make a real pivot in your business, you have to surround yourself with the right people.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to get around those types of people again.
Yeah. So where did you go first when you left Boston this time?
Yeah, so I started on the West Coast. I went over to Vegas in January.
Oh shit! Okay.
There was conferences out there, affiliate conferences and so forth. So I went out there, and after that I went down to Mexico. I was kicking down in Mexico for a while. Shot over to Europe, spent the summer out there. But you could only spend 3 months on a tourist visa in the EU. So after 3 months, I ran out of time, left Europe, came over here to Asia.
Wow. So when was that when you first came to Asia?
It has to be about 2 months ago now.
Oh really? This is only your second month in Asia?
I think so. Maybe a bit more.
And you were in Europe right before this?
Yeah.
And Mexico before that?
Yeah.
So this trip has been how long?
Started in January.
So you were in Boston last Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. So you were in Boston from like 2012 to 2014, all the way through?
Yeah.
And then you went to Mexico, Europe, and how did you choose where to go in Asia? And where did you go?
Yeah, so my draw was a conference. They had a conference in Bangkok.
It's a great draw, guys.
Yeah,
Let that be your excuse, a conference.
Yeah, so look in the Dynamite Circle, fantastic organization.
Dynamite Circle,
They were holding the DCBKK in Bangkok, so I wanted to shoot out for that. And that was the only real reason I decided to come to Europe, to Asia.
Yeah.
And I decided to stick around, shot off, went to Chiang Mai for a while, and came over here, Vietnam.
What was your first impression of Bangkok?
Bangkok's crazy.
What surprised you the most?
So much. So I guess the first thing that stood out to me about Bangkok is how intense it is. It's an intense place, man. It's always on, always moving. It's just alive, man. It feels like its own organism.
Yeah, it is.
And you could find anything there, dude. Like, it's people walking around with scorpions on a skewer.
Yeah.
Like you go to ping pong shows if that's your thing. It's just anything, man, anything. Bangkok is a crazy, crazy place.
Yeah. So how long were you in Bangkok, and then when did you go to Chiang Mai?
I was in Bangkok for about a week for the conference.
Oh.
And I knew I wanted to stay in Asia for the next few months before the year ends. And I wanted to compare between Chiang Mai and Saigon.
Yeah.
So I went to Chiang Mai for 3 weeks. Came over here to Saigon. I planned on a month. Went back to Thailand last week and for 2 weeks. And came back here, and I'm going to be here for a couple of months.
Yeah. So I got started October 2014. I went to the Chiang Mai conference, the dropship lifestyle e-commerce conference. I quit my job just to go to that and get started. Obviously, I'm still here because I was surrounded by other digital nomads. You know, just kind of figure things out together and make it work because everyone wants to make it work. I love Chiang Mai. I was there for 8 months, and Chiang Mai is awesome. The weather is so nice. It was literally blue sky. It did not see a drop of rain for the first 3 months, from October to January. Blue sky. I was so tan, not like back to ginger pale like I am now, because it's been cloudy. It's been a little bit overcast. The rainy season is coming to an end here in Saigon. But couldn't say enough good things about Chiang Mai. It's awesome. It's a small city feel, but it's still a city. It's still a big city. You know, there's still nightlife there. The food is great. What do you think about Chiang Mai?
Yeah, Chiang Mai's cool, man. Chiang Mai's cool. What I find is, just like anywhere else, like I have a friend. His name's John Myers, and one of the things he talks about, you can actually look him up, he has a blog. He talks about a location calculus. And basically this is adding up and subtracting the different things that you would require when you choose a place to stay if you're doing the nomad thing. Chiang Mai was fantastic because it's beautiful and it's green and there's relatively clean air. And
you got mountains in the backdrop. Everywhere you look up, there's mountains. It's just so beautiful. Yeah.
Chiang Mai is mesmerizing, you know? But it's also slower. It's a slower type of a place compared to a place like Bangkok or Saigon. So for myself personally, when it came to location calculus, Saigon was a better fit for me. Just because the way I'm built, I need speed, man. You know, I need constant energy. I need constant hustle bustle. And you find that here in Saigon. So that's why I chose Saigon over Chiang Mai. But I do recommend checking them both out because your temperament will tell you what place is going to be a better fit for you.
Yeah. So, as we look at this beautiful view of Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, wow, just taking it in right now. This is my last day in Saigon, guys, so it's kind of bittersweet. I'm headed up to the beach in Nha Trang, which is apparently the #1 party beach. So, if you want to watch that video, subscribe. There will be plenty of more Vietnam to come soon, and then I'm going up to Hanoi to check that out. But yeah, if you're a city guy, you're going to love Saigon. So let me ask you this. If you're a brand new digital nomad, this is your first time traveling, first time to Asia, what city would you recommend someone, if they're like me and they're just trying to bootstrap their money and get started, what city would you think that you recommend?
Chiang Mai, definitely. Chiang Mai, definitely. Yeah.
Across the board, guys. Kai said the same thing, I say the same thing. Because Chiang Mai is less of a culture shock because it's way more chill and slow. So get started in Chiang Mai and then come check this place out when you're ready. But Chiang Mai is very cheap. Kai and Evan, two of my best buddies from Chiang Mai that I met there, lived off $600 per month. Now I lived off about $1,000 because I like to drink beer. Those two guys, they don't drink beer. They don't go out and party. You know, we partied about 2 nights a week, typical. Spent around $1,000 a month. So Chiang Mai is beautiful, but this place is awesome as well. How long do you plan on staying here now, Ho Chi Minh?
Probably be here for another 3 months, more or less. Yeah.
He's liking it, to say the least.
Yeah, I love Saigon. Saigon's amazing.
What surprised you the most about Saigon, and what do you like about it?
There's a lot I like about it. The thing that surprised me the most was I was expecting it to feel more like Bangkok, and it doesn't. It's very distinct. When you compare Bangkok to Saigon, Bangkok is more developed, and it's firmly planted on the tourist trail. And there are a lot of tourists that come to Saigon as well, especially on Boy Vian, but not as much as Bangkok, and that comes across in the locals. The locals here are a lot more open, and
Interesting.
yeah, that's the first thing that stood out to me. And the thing I like about it, I mean, the list goes on and on, man. Food is great, women are amazing.
Yeah.
You could find anything you want here, rooftop bars to dive bars, always something going on every single day of the week. If you're into going out and having fun. Locals are super friendly. You can make local friends as opposed to some other places where I've stayed where basically you're limited to the expats. Sometimes locals can be pretty closed off. Here it's different, so you can actually get fairly integrated into the community here.
Yeah.
So and optimizing's super easy, dude. I mean, most places where you rent them, you could have laundry service, like laundry services included. If you're grinding it out, you could have food delivered. Pretty much any restaurant in the whole city delivers to the place. Super cheap. Yeah, it's paradise.
Yeah. Oh, he just said paradise, people. He just said paradise. Don't sleep on Saigon. Yeah. It's only $5 for a beer at this location where we're at. This is the Pullman Hotel rooftop bar. It's also $5 for a coffee if you want to go to the top of the Saigon, the Texco Tower, which is right here, the big tall skyscraper there. We were just there the other day. I have a video of that. You can check it out. We kind of do the cafe of the day lifestyle. What's been your daily work schedule? Where do you work? Co-working spaces? What do you cafes?
Yeah. So I prefer co-working spaces. So the one I've been working out of here in Saigon has been in the Bitexco building. They have a place called Nest. So I'm usually perched there. It's a walking co-working space. Yeah. So super easy. I mean, you go in, you buy coffee. You don't have any type of membership fee, and everybody there is working on something. So internet is fast, strong.
Yeah.
Good place to get it done.
Yeah, I agree. If you guys are just starting your business, I also recommend co-working spaces because you can meet other people that are doing the same thing, hopefully similar stuff to you, and you can pick their brains, hold each other accountable, blah, blah, blah. Exciting news, digital nomads around the world in Saigon. Dreamplex, Asia's #1 co-working space. It's 3 floors, it's huge. They have a game room, unlimited desk space. I have a video of that. You can check that out. It just came out. I was just there a few days ago. You should definitely check it out.
Definitely.
The membership fee right now is 2 million dong, which is $100. That's a grand opening special, and that's for the next 6 months. If you buy it now, the price is good for the next 6 months. Regular price is $175 a month, but before you say that's too much, watch my video because it literally is a dreamplex. It's a dream co-working space. They have a PS3 and a game room with couches where you can just kick up your feet and get that blood back to your brain instead of sitting in the desk like this all day. So check out Dreamplex. Supposedly it's the #1 co-working space in Asia, state-of-the-art facility. So check that out. But I definitely recommend if you're new to a city, check out the co-working spaces just to meet similar minds. Because me personally, being around people that are on the same mission as you, that's the key to success. So rapid fire Tim Ferriss type questions. Philosophical type questions.
Shoot.
Back to, you dropped out of college. What would you say overall was the key to you making it online? What was the key to success? What was that one life hack or that one golden moment or that one thing that you learned that made it a reality, made it work? One key puzzle piece.
I would say it was a shift in focus. So for most of my life, I was very driven by results, immediate results, and that kept me locked in situations where I can get results fast, once I started focusing on process over event, that's when I started getting real traction. When your objective changes, your priorities change. So as an online business owner, especially in the beginning, it's incredibly difficult because you're plowing money into the business and sometimes you're not getting an immediate return unless you're in certain industries, verticals, whatever. But a lot of times it's hard to make that leap of faith. But if you're focused on process, it doesn't feel like a leap of faith anymore because you're not looking at it as a once-off thing, like I need this to work immediately. You say, all right, I'm going to make this system work. And even if the immediate results aren't 100% what I want, it's just data. I'm using that to course correct. So that one shift in mentality, I think, has been the biggest thing for the success that I have now.
Wow. Going from immediate results to building a system that runs itself, a system that works. That's the key.
Process over event, man.
Process over event. Wow, that's amazing advice. So, 4-hour work week. There's a lot about that in the 4-hour work week, okay? Going from direct sale, direct commissions to building a system that's working. So, if there's anything you learned from this podcast, the 4-hour work week, definitely check that out. I like the audiobook. I still have it on my phone. I listen to chapters all the time. What's one piece of advice that you could give to someone that wants to travel and work remotely, getting started? One piece of advice for people out there.
Get around the right people in any way, shape, or form. I mean, even if you're stuck in a job right now in the States, find a co-working space in your city. Most cities have them. Get around people that are living the type of lifestyle that you want to emulate. Just being around that force will change everything.
People on the same mission.
Yeah.
So if people don't know, there's something called meetup.com.
Yeah,
and that's a good place to meet. There's in Seattle, there's a 4-hour work week, location independent meetup. So go to meetup.com and search e-commerce, online business, entrepreneurship. And so if you can't travel and go to a conference abroad, check that out. I think we would both recommend, if you're going to move to a new country, attend a conference.
Definitely.
If not in another country, attend a conference in America. Go to the conferences in Vegas. It'd be worth it, no matter where you live, to go to Vegas and go to that e-commerce conference, go to that affiliate conference, go to whatever you're into. Go to the conference and just make tons of friends. And just be yourself, because add them on Facebook. Just adding them on Facebook will change your life, because now you're seeing what they're doing on Facebook and it kind of rubs off. Our friends on Facebook is now scattered across the world, and it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a self-feedback loop. As we travel more, we get more traveling friends, and our Facebook feeds get more and more traveling photos, and that leads to us wanting to travel more. So once you come out here and start traveling, it kind of doesn't make sense why you would want to go back to a sedentary, repetitive schedule. It's kind of once you break free, why go back? So it's amazing that we're both out here. You're going to be in Saigon for maybe 3 more months.
Yeah.
Plans after that? You have anything in the sights, or we play how it go?
Sky's the limit, man. Who knows?
Sky is the limit. Woo! You don't even know. So let's see. 5 years from now, what's the vision? You have a team member. What's the vision for your Google AdWords business agency? Yeah. What's your 5-year vision? Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself still traveling, nomading around? Do you see yourself having a big team, big agency? What's kind of your vision going forward with the business?
Yeah, so 5 years from now, the goal is massive scale. I consider myself more a direct response marketer than an AdWords man or a sales copywriter. So finding channels where I can sell other products and other services is going to be the next goal. I'm still going to be living the nomad lifestyle. I'm a global citizen at this point.
Global citizen?
Yeah, dude.
Woo, you said it.
like you mentioned, once you have a taste of the lifestyle, it's impossible to go back to being planted in one place, man. I mean, the world's too big and amazing, and yeah. So 5 years from now, I'll still be doing that and pushing it to the next level, man.
Hell yeah, man. It's like moving up in the apartment.
Yeah, damn straight.
Now we're living on the, let's say 15th floor. Maybe in 5 years we can get up to living in the top of this Pullman hotel. Who knows? If you're into that type of stuff. If you're not into spending money on hotels, then maybe you can spend money on more flights per year. Visit your family for Thanksgiving and Christmas, maybe. Whatever. But money gives you options. Cash flow definitely gives you options. So that's really exciting, man. You had mentioned last night that you plan on creating your own product. What type of product and why do you want to create your own product?
Yeah, so I'm starting with an info product, an information product. And the reason for that, two reasons. First, because it's an easy entrance. Most people, if you've been alive for longer than 2 decades, you have some type of knowledge that other people would be willing to pay you for. And the best thing about an information product is the margins are amazing. You create it once and you get paid for it over and over again.
Yes, sir.
You don't got to buy materials. You don't got to worry about warehouses. You don't got to worry about fulfillment. You just have this thing that prints money. If you know how to drive traffic to that thing, you could do really well. So that's what I'm going to be starting with. I'll be launching that within the next 3 months. Putting it together now. It's going to be a video course specifically about AdWords lead generation. And from there, I'll branch out into other things.
Awesome. You had mentioned physical products as well. Why even get into physical products if you can do an information product?
Physical products, in my opinion, are... So there's two different things that appeal to me about physical products. Number one, it's a lot easier or harder to replicate, even though some physical products can be commoditized. They are intimidating to new people coming into the space.
Yeah, it's kind of scary to go the whole factory, dealing with the factory thing. Yeah.
Right, and ponying up the money, man. I mean, most people don't want to drop $5K or $10K or $20K to buy inventory. It's a scary thing. And anytime in any business you can create a barrier to entry to other people.
Yeah.
It's a very good thing. Info products, of course, they're easy to create. So once somebody makes the mental leap, it's just a matter of sitting down with a pen and paper or a recorder or a camera and you can make it happen. So the barrier to entry is less in terms of fulfillment, product creation. Yeah. Physical products are different. So you can create a barrier around the physical product manufacturing process. And if you can also do the same on the traffic side of things, you're going to be in a pretty good position.
Nice. So physical product, do you plan on... Pick your brain about physical products, kind of how you see the business. Because I'm in the physical product business. I sell a product on Amazon. I sell my branded product on Amazon. Do you plan on doing the Amazon method, or do you plan on doing your own traffic?
Personally, I plan on starting with my own traffic. Just because it's an easy pivot from what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
and I already have a ton of e-commerce clients and know how the space works. So I'll be shooting my own traffic to it, and I won't be limited to that though. I mean, why not do Amazon stuff?
Yeah.
Why not?
It makes money. Why not do it?
Yeah. So open every source that I can.
Totally.
That's the goal.
It's crazy when you get into the world of online business. There's so many different methods to monetize. It's like we're still so young. Looking into the future, and the internet is growing exponentially. So it's kind of like sometimes I get almost overwhelmed. Like there's so many possibilities, not only just travel, but with where the internet is going and ways to make money on the internet, because the economy is the internet now. Transactions. What is it, like 15% of all shopping happens online now, and that's only going to get bigger and bigger. Obviously, every year is a record for mobile purchases. People are now buying from their phones. In a few years, we're going to be buying with our voice on Amazon. Amazon's little robot thing. Hey, order me some Cheerios, or order me a new pack of white T-shirts, or whatever it may be. We are living in an amazing time, to say the least. And it's what a time to be alive, as we said last night. So wow, stay tuned. A lot more travel videos coming your way, guys. This is only my freshman year, start of my sophomore year traveling. Yeah, sky is the limit, like you said. So thanks for sitting down with me, man.
Of course, bro.
Great story, man. We have a lot in common. That's were knocking doors. Went from knocking doors to automated e-commerce systems, and we're both living in Saigon, man. It's just crazy that we met Thanksgiving. It's like put yourself around the right people, and stuff will start to happen. Mo hi ba yo. See you guys soon.